Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard 100, a video series documenting the culling of my collection from what it is to what it is going to be. 3 rules. Let me remind you. Rule number 1, I can't get rid of a game until I have played it. Rule number 2, the expansion and the game counts as one game. And once I get this business down to a Hard 100, it's 1 in, 1 out. That first rule I'd like to focus on. There are a few games that I have just not played, and something about them makes me not want to play them. Either the rules were poorly written and I don't feel like figuring it out, or I've just kind of grown disgusted with it. We talked about a game before, Cold Water Crown, I was just wanting to get rid of, and it turned out to be a surprise. There's another game that I played recently that I kind of gave up on. I was like, I don't want to play this. I bought it because it was pretty, but I didn't feel like there was a game behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you how wrong I was. Overseers. Overseers, a game by Guan Chi Huang, is a... This one's a little tough to pinpoint. Thunder Griffin Games has put together a game that is essentially Sushi Go plus bluffing plus voting plus set collection, which is what Sushi Go is. So here is how this works. If you've ever played Sushi Go, it's a card drafting game. Think 7 Wonders. The game where you take a hand of cards, you take one card, that's your card, you pass the rest over to the left or right. Then you take the other ones. You pick a card, you put it down, you pass the rest over. When the time all the cards go around, you've seen everything at the table, and you have cards in your hand. So let's say I'm looking for greens, or pass the card and I'm trying to get some greens, and then, oh, didn't get all the greens. It's that idea, so that first. So you do the card drafting, and all of the cards are different virtues. Let me explain this theme the best way I can, and that's by reading the back of the box. Since the beginning of time, there have been 2 opposing forces that are the pillars of the universe and coexist in eternal balance. Our goddess, in her infinite wisdom, has sent a group of overseers to protect our world. The overseers has the power to bend human traits to their will, as they are always fighting between each other to create the perfect symmetry between virtues and vices. Or completely crush it for your own good. Alright, deceive your opponents, use your character's abilities widely, reach best score 3 rounds. I don't really know what the theme is. Theme is not existent. You're just some beautiful artwork trying to fuck with your friends. It's good. So after I have card drafted, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those cards and I'm going to put 2 of them face down and 3 of them face up. Everyone gets to see some of my score, but not all of my score. At this point, the table conversation opens and everyone has to try to figure out who and make arguments for who they think is going to have the most points. So you take your little voting tokens, everyone goes 1, 2, 3, vote, and you put it in front of the person. If there are ties, the first player is the tiebreaker on everything, including if you tie at the end who wins, which is super funny. And at that point, the person who has been declared having the most can make one of 2 calls. They can either admit it because they think that they do, and they get to get rid of 2 cards in front of them, face up or face down of their choice, or they can deny, at which point everyone reveals their cards, and if they in fact are the highest, they have to get rid of the 2 cards that give them the higher score, or if they are not, they get to keep their cards and take an extra card from the middle, which will give them more points. And if the actual person who is the highest, we don't care about them, it's just like, haha, you made the right decision. Then after that, whoever has the most greed cards gets to take a card from somebody, so there's a little bit of take that, and then you get coins based on your score, and then you put them face down, no one knows how many points you actually have. At the end of 3 rounds, winner's the winner. But then the shit gets crazy. That's the basic game. And if I was going to teach you this, and I have taught this, and that's how I taught it, that's the basic game. Everyone understands, no questions, cool. Now let me fuck with you a little bit. Everyone gets a character. These characters are the reason you buy the game. It is the very beautiful, smoky art that you're going to see. And as soon as I passed this game out, before even seeing these things, everyone who played the game was oohing and ahhing about, oh, this is really pretty. All the components are really lovely, the art's nice, but at this point they haven't seen the art. They've just seen like the graphic design and everything, and it was really impressive to them, which is impressive to me, which is why I bought the goddamn thing. But then the character cards do crazy things, like you can make certain cards worth more. You can hide one card under another one and duplicate it. You can take all the greed cards from the center and get more greed cards, and then no one can steal from you. It's a lot of really cool abilities, and what makes it really fun is you're not stuck with this for the game. You get a new character every round. And chances are, if you're playing with a larger group, then the characters are going to come up more than once, so it's going to be very quick to understand exactly what strategies you need to put in place to get what you need to get. Overseers. This box right here. let's do some quick housekeeping. Ages 14 and up, I can only think because there's some sexy ladies in here, and maybe that's the only reason. 3 to 6 players, we played with 6, right at 6. And it was a goddamn blast. Everyone really liked it. I really liked it. There was no complaints at the table when I was done with it. I wanted to play it again, so we did. And it was just really, really fun. The only thing that I messed up on is I kind of mixed in all the money together, and since the money is one-sided, because you can hide it, I should have separated that out to make it a little bit easier. And then 30 minutes. It's a very quick game. Your first game will be about 30 minutes. After that, it's gonna go a lot faster depending on how long you want to deliberate over the vote. And we made a little rule that if you are the tiebreaker and you are the one with the leader card, you basically determine when it's to vote. So your word is law. 1, 2, 3, vote, and then you vote. All of the bits are very, very lovely. Everything fits in this little box right here. The player aids on one side is the card count, on the other side is the flow of the round. But if you're running the game, you're pretty swell on it. I actually watched a video on how to play this game, and they did a great, great job. Now, the rulebook is, now that I know how to play, the rulebook is very well laid out. But the rulebook is the reason I never wanted to play the game to begin with, because I didn't understand really what they were doing. Here's the problem. A lot of times when you play a board game, they will call something simple that everyone knows something wonky. So for example, we all know Magic the Gathering has the monopoly on the word tapped. So the board game community got together and we decided, you know what? It's gonna be called exhaust. Even though anytime you do it, anytime you tap a card. So for example, if I am drafting a card, your game might call it something different. This game calls them virtues and vices. So if you have a virtue in your hand, well, what does that mean? No, just fucking say you have a card. Fool's Fortune did this to the point where that rule book was borderline unreadable, because they give simple things that everyone knows, these random ass bonker shit names, and it just confuses you for no reason. Now that I go back through it, I think it was me being more stubborn than the game actually not wanting to teach me. Overseers. Let's talk about how it compares to other things that I have in my collection. I've talked before about how I do have Sushi Go. I love the idea of card drafting. I don't have 7 Wonders proper. I have 7 Wonders dual, but I also don't have a lot of games that do card drafting necessarily. Sushi Go would be a good one for my daughter because she might like the sushi, and we kind of talked about that. But as far as adults, this adds a layer to Sushi Go that really makes it a game. Overseers is a game that I was crazy impressed with because I expected it to be terrible. I just needed to fulfill my rule number 1 and it was done. But this one, Overseers, and this lady right here, look at this art. Look at this lady. That lady is party. All this art is party. It's party, party, party. Overseers, you are in my hard 100. I am very excited to play you again. And now that I know how to play you, I can teach you to other people. And I can take it back to my game group, and when I pull it out, they are going to want to ooh and ah, and they're like, oh, that's that one. And they're going to want to play it, because we were excited to play it once, twice, 3 times a lady is on the box. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Billy. Thank you so much for joining me this on the Hard 100. This is right for my shelf. Is it right for yours? You're going to have to make that decision for yourself, whether or not you like card drafting, a smidge of bluffing, and the art style. Not the art style, the artwork, because it's... Go online, take a look at it. If you're cool with your kids playing it, let them play it. I don't see anything necessarily wrong with it. The theme is just pasted on. It could be anything, but I'm glad that it's this, because if I'm playing a game that's pretty abstract, the art is very lovely to look at. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Billy, Hard 100. I hope you and yours are well. Peace out.